Hello, guys. Hello. I thought I would pop in here a wee bit early today so that I could get a chance to say hello, hello, hello. So let me see if I can. Yeah, I can see I want to be able to see the comments and messages today that come in to the live stream. So I'm going to take some time out today. I know we have about 1 minute, 30 seconds to be exact, before we begin day 3 of the Motivational and Fitness Mindset Challenge. Today is going to be Data Day, and I'm super duper excited that I would do the live today sitting on my couch while we're all nice and comfy. All nice and comfy. So let's see. I want to be able to. Hello, how are you, Facebook user? It's so good to see you. There is right above my head. You can see it. If you want us to know, and it's perfectly all right if you don't want us to know who you are, but if you do want us to know who you are, Facebook user, you can just simply give StreamYard permission to tell us your name, and it may even put a picture there. But hello, it's so good to see you. Thank you for saying hello. I wanted to pop in here early so that I could start off with some hellos. Hello. So good to see you. So good to see you. So today I have some notes here. So today's mindset challenge for today is Data Day. Data Day. Did you do the homework? Are you doing the homework? Now you know your why and you've discovered your why nots. And I wanted this challenge to be about your mindset and you to put in a lot of effort in this material. It's super duper helpful when you put in the effort. You can identify your why, and you can also identify and uncover your why nots. Hopefully, you have a sense of your why and your why nots. And as I grow and evolve with you as an individual, I keep unlocking old memories. This concept I'm teaching you, do the work and you'll get a lot out of it. Once you do the work and make the effort, you will definitely get a lot out of it. You will. And there is another hello. It's so awesome to see y'all. It's just amazing to see you. Thank you so much for saying all of the hellos. All of the hellos. Great to see. Great to see you. Great to see you, Facebook user. Like I said before, if you want us to know who you are, simply go up top and give StreamYard permission to grant us to see your face and your picture. And if you don't, that's perfectly okay if you want to remain anonymous. So we're here today to discuss Data Day. Data Day is one of the most important pieces of the mindset and motivational fitness challenge. It is the most important part. So I want you to open your mind and open your ears. As I discuss, I'm going to start off with a bit of a story, this concept of Data Day. I can remember being in high school and I've always had this voice. People tell me this voice, I love your voice. I didn't have voice and diction classes as growing up. I grew up in Southern Georgia. I just read a lot and my mother read to me and I learned how to use good diction, but I didn't really know how I developed this talent. It's talent. And so people from my community and people in my church would say, she is an excellent speaker. She is great at speaking. Can she do all of our welcomes and occasions at the church? And before long, I was on the radio in my high school doing Black History Month. And pretty soon, this lady approached my mother with a really big task of mine. And she said, I want Kim to compete in the oratorical contest along the district, meaning the district and our community. And my mother was like, of course, she'll do it, even before talking to me. I grew up with one of those civil rights mothers. So, there was no discussion with me. She was going to do it, and little Kimmy was going to be excellent at it, right? And so I knew that I could talk, and my mother had pumped me up. People in the community always gave me praises. Oh, little Kimmy, she's so great at what she does. And so I started off doing these oratorical contests, and I was great. I had to memorize the material, and I got up and I presented the material at the time that I was called up, and I won some of the contest. And so as I went along with the contest, the competition really got steep. More and more people, it's like the Olympics of talking, right? Oratorical, you have to know how to speak and enunciate words. And I was just talented at it. Didn't know how I developed it. I was just talented, and everybody praised little Kimmy for being talented with this oratorical contest. So I remember at this really big competition, and this particular young lady, she was phenomenal, and I started to sweat, and I had memorized like pages, gobs of material to speak, and all of it just left me. I went blank because I was so hyper focused on how phenomenal she was, and I had to go after her. I had never in my life witnessed someone so phenomenally posed and poised speaking. And so I reached up and I told the lady that was there from my church, I said, I'm sick. I'm ill. I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to go up and speak. And she's like, what are you talking about? We've driven all this way. I said, no, really and truly, I can't do it. And she said, well, okay, I have to tell the orator, the judges, that you're not going to be able to compete. Actually, I lied. I lied. I wasn't sick. I just could not bring myself to compete against this young lady. You know, competing with others shows you where you are limited. If we want to be totally honest, I was scared. That was the first time in my life where I was afraid of being challenged with failing. I was scared of getting the data. So I pretended I was as good as I pretended to be. I pretended. I pretended in my mind, and I really didn't prepare like I needed to prepare, because everybody always praised little Kimmy and said, oh my goodness, you're so talented. You just have this down, you know. And I pretended enough where I convinced myself why I didn't need to prepare as I needed to prepare, because I was naturally good at it. You know, I was naturally good at it. And I thought about that as I matured in age. And there was a study of two groups of children. And I wish I would have known this when my children were little. But one group of children were praised for being naturally talented and, naturally smart and talented. And the other group of children were praised for effort. They were praised for effort. The second group was praised for effort, and it didn't matter if they succeeded or not. They just wanted to know how how they could get over it, right? They were praised for effort and praised for practice and the power of practice. And there was a guy named Matthew Sid, and he wrote a book called The Myth of Talent and the Power of Practice. And if you have small children, I encourage you, or grandchildren, to get this book and read it, because most of the women in this group are like me. You are mature women, and we're over 40. It's not something you earn, talent and being smart. It's just something you're born with. It's no effort. It's judgment. We judge each other all the time. And effort can be reproduced, but talent can't. Even the most phenomenal football player, he's talented. And so the coach has to help him see beyond his talent, which is a very challenging thing to do, because he's naturally talented. He doesn't know how he got this way. He's just talented. And I didn't know how I had developed the skills that I had developed. Most of us here, like, we're over the age of 40, in our generation, our parents' generation, in our generation, we were praised for talent. And our generation and parents were not as self-aware as we are today. And this is why so many of you can't achieve your fitness and health goals. It's because you are so invested in what other people think. And it's not your fault. That is how we have been socialized. You're so invested in what other people think, and you are invested and not aware of being seen as talented. You're just not aware of it. We are all terrified as being seen as inadequate. You totally are afraid to get the data. When I have measurements and weigh-ins here at the studio, people will immediately start in on what they haven't done, or if their stomach is bloated, or I haven't been good, or I've eaten all kinds of, and I like to call it shite, shite, since the last weigh-in and measurements. They want to immediately start pretending things aren't as bad as they are. So they start tearing themselves down because they don't want me as the coach and as the trainer to see them as anything less than. And I don't. I don't see them as anything less than human. I don't see them. You are totally afraid to get the data. And at the oratorical contest, when I was there, I had pretended to be better than I was. And I didn't put in the effort that I needed to, because I believed it would just happen. And a lot of us will believe it will just happen. I will just magically become healthy. I would just magically lose weight. I would just magically wake up one day and be in the best shape of my life. I was lying to myself. I lied. I lied to myself. And the difficult thing for us to do, this is the number one reason. The difficult thing for us to do, for you to do, is to separate the data from your personhood. You see yourself as the failure. You are not a failure. You're not. We don't follow through on our fitness and health plans because we see ourselves as failing. We say we're going to track our foods and monitor our foods, and we don't. We say we're going to work out, and we end up laying on the couch. We say we're going to go out and eat a salad for lunch, and then we go out with friends, and we say we're going to go and take a walk, and we don't, or have a salad for lunch, and we end up eating pizza. And you fail, and you make this mean something about you. It has nothing to do with you, your personhood. These are all failing points. And we talked about that a little bit on yesterday. You've reached some failing points in life. You are the most beautiful representation of what a human being is. That's what you are, a human being. And the more you acknowledge the data, the faster you can achieve your health and fitness goals. But what most of us do, we deny the data. We don't want to see the data. We pretend I was putting in more effort than I was. What bodybuilding has taught me, I can't wag it. That's what it's taught me. I can't wag it. I have this sometimes in my fitness groups and, in the studio, where people will say, well, I followed this program and I didn't get any results. And my body didn't change one bit. Not all the time, but some of the times I get this. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Liar, liar, pants on fire. You ate some of the food, but not all of the food. You did some of the workouts, but you didn't show up for every workout. Consistent data over the last 7 years. If I look at consistent data over the last 7 years, what it's taught me is it is physically and scientifically impossible to follow a program exactly to the letter. It's impossible. And not get results. It's impossible. That's what bodybuilding has taught me. It's impossible not to get results. So what Data Day does, I want you to look at where you have failed. That's what data is. You look at where you have failed so you can fix the failure. Wouldn't it just be easier to fix the failure instead of just suffer over it? Just fix it. Fix the failure. Not to pretend, that you have more muscle than you have, not to pretend that you've done more than you've done. You can't cheat it. You just can't. You can't buy it. That's what bodybuilding has taught me. I can't cheat it. I can't buy it. I have to build it. You can only build it. I get this with people in business. People ask me all the time, well, Kim, how can I build a business? I want to build a business. And then when they get into building a business and they have a launch day, they launch their product and they come back to me and they say, well, I only earned this amount. I expected this and I got that. See, the main problem is you expected this to be easier than it is. It's insanely hard. It's insanely hard to build a business. It's insanely hard to build a body. You expected it to be easy. And failing shows you where you still have work to do. That's all failure does. It just shows you where you still have work to do. You, yourself, your personhood, you are not a failure. You know, I'm not invested anymore in what people think of me. And I don't want you to be invested anymore in what people think of you. So I gave up the oratorical, competition because I was so invested in what people thought of me. I was so afraid to get the failing point until I did not compete. I told the lady that I was with, I was sick. I did not want the data. I didn't. Because I didn't want to lose the praise in my church. I didn't want to lose the praise in the community. I didn't want to lose the praise from my high school. Everybody thought little Kimmy was just the gym, I was just, oh my, get little Kimmy to do it. She's going to do so well. And so the praise for the talent really felt good. It was that hit of dopamine that we look for in people. It feels really good for people to tell you that you are doing so well. You look so good, that little hit of dopamine. But here's the truth. When I was practicing and, in an oratorical contestant, I wasn't going for long-term results. I was going for short-term praise. You have to decide what you're going for. When you're on a health and fitness journey, you have to decide what you're going for. It's really important to set a goal, a good, solid, long term goal with a deadline. And that is one of the reasons why I decided to remodel Dynamic Physiques Fitness Lifestyle Studios for Women. Is no longer going to be called Weight Loss Studios for Women. It's Lifestyle Studios for Women because you need a deadline. Now, here's my final point. Final point is you have to ask yourself, do you want to win now or win in the long term? What is most important to you? Do you want to win now or do you want to win in the long term? And here's what I want you to do today. Here's your homework for today. I want you to snap a selfie in your underwear. You only have to look at this picture. Now, sometimes this derails people and sometimes this moves people forward. And we're going to talk about motivation 101 on tomorrow. I want you to snap a selfie in your underwear. This is clear data. This is where you are now in relationship to where you want to be. You want the data. A lot of us pretend that things aren't as bad as they really are. And they are. And just because we pretend that things are not real doesn't mean that reality doesn't exist. Maybe you lost weight and put the weight back on. Maybe you were like me. Maybe you lost weight and put the weight back on. Maybe you've been on and off the wagon. Maybe you've had a lot of yo-yo diets. Most of us don't want to admit the damage is really as bad as it is. But because you don't admit it, doesn't mean reality doesn't exist. It just means you're pretending it doesn't exist, which is a lie. That's what I did. I lied. Here's what's important with data. When you start on a health and fitness journey, you have to measure what matters. So today, your challenge with your homework is take a picture, a selfie. You can share it with the group if you want. This is a private group, or you can keep it to yourself. I want you to also step on the scale. That's another way to measure you. I want you to take your measurements, your body measurements, your hips, your thighs, your legs, your arms, your neck, your bust area, your calf muscle. I want you to start today being aware of what you're eating. You may say, Kim, well, I don't want to measure that. Take a picture of it. You need to become aware of what you're doing. You need to stop telling yourself, you need to stop pretending that where you are is where you really want to be. That's important. Data is important. Your calories in and calories out. That's important. Keeping track of it. You need to get real about what you're doing. So many people say you're stuck. You're not stuck. You just haven't gotten real. I want you to place your before picture beside a body goal picture. I want you to go out and find someone with the same body shape that you have. I don't care if you're able to achieve it or not. This is not about you achieving their body goal or their body shape. See, it wasn't about me being as good or as excellent as the young lady I needed to compete against. This is about competing against you, finding your failing points and overcoming them. That's what has you stuck. So go out, find that picture, place the picture that you took in your underwear beside the picture that you want to be, because this will let you know how far away you are from your body goal. This will let you know how far away you are from your body goal. And then on tomorrow, we will meet back here for motivation. And I want to hear, I'm here to help you. So I want to hear all of the things that you have been faced with, fear, all the things that you need help with overcoming. I'm here this week to help you begin your new journey on your mindset. That's the reason why you join this challenge, to change your mindset. It's a 5-day challenge. It's going to get you going. You're going to have to continuously work on it, but this will get you going. This will get you going. And that's the reason why I did it. So this will be the last and final fitness program that you will ever have to purchase. If you're in a fitness program right now, get the data. Separate the data from your personhood. If you put on 20 pounds, 100 pounds, that is where you are today. That is your data. That is reality. And let me just explain something to you. A lot of times we don't want the data because as women, and this is my final point, as women, we feel so much. We are feelers, and we pretend things are the way we feel. That's not reality. Feelings are not reality, right? They're in the moment. And a lot of times you go for it in the moment. Let me explain something to you. What if you had a doctor that came into the room and said, I am going to prescribe you these medications because of how I feel today. He did not check your blood pressure. He did not put a speculum to your chest. He didn't listen at your heart. He is prescribing you medication based off of how he feels. I feel like you need this medicine. What would you think? There is no data. What tells you that I do? You need data. And the only thing the data does is to tell you how far away or how close you are. Data moves you away from your goal, or the data moves you towards your goal. It's not about feeling when you get on the scale. It's not about feeling when you look in the mirror. It's about your data. This is about your reality. Data. All right? Yeah. So thank you all for joining me today. Thank you, Miss Brittany. Thank you, Miss Rosa. I want to say hello. Hello, Facebook user. Hello, Facebook user, and hello, Facebook user. I wanted to say some hellos today and take some time to do that. So I will meet you back here on tomorrow for motivation 101. 101. Motivation 101 on tomorrow. Today, do the homework. Do the homework. Make an effort. Do the homework. Make an effort.